Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Amma ba'd. Uh, First of all, everybody is welcome today for this webinar, and it's very important subject, which is the Islamic finance ecosystem. In this presentation today, I would like to mention few things which is necessary for all of us to make a planning or roadmap for future, how we can do for Islamic finance to the next level, and what should we do to make it or to further enhance this particular program. As we know that Islamic finance is, first of all, is to avoid riba, and it's riba-free banking, or you can say that Dar-Sudi banking. So, but I would say that it's not only riba-free banking. Once we say that Islamic banking, so to make it further more compliant and to be more near to maqasid Shariah or the objectives of Shariah, we should know that it should consider or follow upon some other things as well. Usually, as we do Islamic banking, we follow the guidelines given by the Sharia board, and keeping in view that in our any transaction, if there is no concept of riba involved or any element of gharar is found there, or we see that if maisir or qimar or gambling or speculative transaction is involved or not. So we have to see all these backgrounds. But to make it more feasible and more blessings for blessing for the all humankind, we have to do some further initiatives through these Islamic banks. And we can say it that it is like Islamic banking ecosystem. It would not only be just providing a financing requirements to a particular corporate or particular business people, rather it would basically useful or productive for the all humanity, and it's more sustainable and more ethically viable and more socially just and fair, and also it brings the flow of wealth from the very poor, which are very few, to the larger community of poor people. So from the very rich to poor people or middle class people. So enabling poor people or any middle class people, through that they could make or they could earn money through different ways by enabling them to provide financing for their different skills or services which they provide, or enabling them to do different startups or entrepreneurship programs, or see that, as we know, that the Islamic banking system is completely is based on asset backed. So once we say that any Islamic finance is asset backed, so it means that it is more sustainable. So when we talk about sustainable financing system, it also includes Islamic finance because it's asset based, asset backed financing. And if, for example, we use it further to ecosystem, which is normally is said about the globally ecosystem for climate change, for green economy, to make the environmental friendly system. So, since as being Islam is more ethically good system, or it provides and encourages good ethics in doing the business. That is why it is called that at-tajir as-saduq al-amin ma'an nabiyyin wa siddiqin wa shuhada, that a trustworthy and true businessman will be with the amongst the messengers of Holy Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and siddiqin and shuhada on the day of Qiyamah. So it means that ethics also very important. So once we talk about the ethics, so it is ethical to everything, socially ethical or globally ethical, ethical and which is more useful or more productive for all human or for all mankind. So there is another hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that khairun nasi yanfa'un nas. The best person is that who is the best for the other and more productive for the other people. So I wanted that we should see that are these Islamic banks could perform in a way that would be more productive and more sustainable, provide more sustainable economy system, and so that the poor people or the middle class people could also get the same benefit as big corporates or big companies. So that is why I'm mentioning here in the first slide that it is a social finance ecosystem includes provides of social finance and social enterprise, plus all stockholders who participate in influence are impacted by social investment activities. So Islamic finance is not just a riba-free financing. It should or must keep objectives of Sharia, maqasid Sharia, objectives of Sharia, while implementing complete Islamic economic system, which includes the following things. Uh, Ethically useful, as I mentioned, that ethics has a big rewardable and values in Sharia. So our banking system should be very ethically good. And secondly, socially useful to enable poor people to provide different skills and entrepreneurship skills to eliminate poverty and eradicating the poorness of the people. And also, we should try to enable people to different skills and different services, providing different services for, or nowadays, as you can see that, mashallah, we are, Pakistan is a good nation for freelancing. So we can create our youth as a good freelancers, and Islamic bank can play a big role for the fintech or for these type of startup. So this is also useful and useful for all mankind and humanity at large, and useful for environment and and climate of the globe, etc., like green financing or green sukuk. If, for example, we do for some kind of assets which are completely based on nature and it is free from carbon, for example, making some land which is very friendly to climate, and we can issue sukuk of that. So since it is a based on number one based on a particular asset, secondly it is sustainable because it has the all natural things. It is sustainable. The third thing, it is friendly to the climate. The fourth thing is it is a green category which is defined by UNDP or United Nations Development Program as green investment, which is encouraged by nowadays by the World Bank to do financing or investment into these things by different investors or big companies or by big banks, so that the climate will be good. So I mean the Islamic ecosystem or Islamic banking is complementing that ecosystem, and it is more nearer to the ecosystem. So once there is any product is made of green, so it is better to issue the sukuk rather than to issue the bond, green bond, because it is already Islamic. Because whatever eco-compliant product we launch, it's already Sharia compliant product. So as I mentioned to you that Islamic finance ecosystem also will provide some concept of zakat, sadaqat, and waqf, some qarz and kafala as we do in Meezan Ehsan Trust, for example, in which we provide Qarja Hasana for talent hunt program or for different medical institutions or different type of institutions. And also kafala, basically it's a guarantee. So, and also contemporary not-for-profit microfinance institutions. So we could make some kind of financing for that. So, and also it will include, as I mentioned, that for which will bring the socially impact, a good impact. So, Islamic banking or financing system is good because it incorporates or it is integration between the traditional Islamic institution and Sharia compliant commercial financing institution. It encourages zakat institution. It also involve in works Islamic microfinance institution, like we have here Ukhuwat. Ukhuwat is a very good example in which through which we could do, and now they are doing the through Islamic ways their financing, and we could replicate these type of thing, and it's also Islamic finance category. Islamic banks in Takaful also play a very good role to eliminate the maisir and riba and everything. And Islamic capital market, which includes all types of like sukuk or equity. Equity here would be like we have in Pakistan KMI or Islamic Index or KMI 30 Index, Islamic 30 Index. So, which is the Sharia compliant index, or like private equity, or we can invest or into halal commodity market or something like that. Halal literacy and Islamic finance literacy are two crucial concepts where it can lead to the behavior of person towards its decision, and especially in adopting Islamic finance. It is, you know, that once you have a good knowledge about Islam, you would know that it's basically our religion is blessing for all mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent the Holy Prophet ﷺ as a blessing of all mankind. So when we talks about the ecosystem, we think that it is useful just because of our logic. No, but it is, you know, that it has been mentioned by many ahadith of the Holy Prophet. I will here recall some or as a reference. I will mention here some ahadith of the Holy Prophet. For example, in the first hadith, Prophet Muhammad said, "Whosoever brings dead land to life, for him is a reward in it, and whatever any creature seeking food eats of it shall be reckoned as charity for him." The Prophet ﷺ in another occasion said, "There is no Muslim who plants tree or sows a field for a human, bird or animal eats from it, but it shall be reckoned as charity for him. And if anyone plants a tree, no human nor any of the creatures of Allah will eat from it without it being reckoned as charity for him from him." This testifies the importance the Prophet ﷺ in the early days of Islam has given to reclamation of land and equal rights of God of all God's creatures to benefit from the resources of earth. Narrated Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu, Allah's apostle said, there is none among us the Muslim who plants tree or sows seeds, and then a bird or person or an animal eats from it, but it is regarded as charitable gift for him. It will basically continuous gift, as we can call it sadaqah jariyah. The utilization of all natural resources like land, water, air, fire, energy, forests, oceans are considered the rights and the joint property of the entire mankind. Since man is Khalifa or Caliphate, the vicegerent of Allah on earth, he should take every precaution to ensure the interest and right of the others and regard his mastery over his allotted piece of land as a joint ownership with the next generation. The rights to benefit from the nature are linked to accountability and maintenance or conservation of the core resource. The fundamental legal principle established by the Prophet Muhammad is that the benefit of a thing is in the return of liability attached to it. Much environmental degradation is due to the people's ignorance of what their conservation of the environment is a religious duty demanded by God. God has said, "And do good deeds and do good as Allah has good to you, and do not seek to cause corruption in the earth. Allah does not love the corruptors." Islam calls for the efficient use of natural resources and waste minimization. God says in Quran, "Eat and drink, but waste not excess." He loves not excessive, and do not follow the bidding of the excessive, whose cause corruption in the earth, and do not work good, and do not cause corruption in the earth when it has set in order. The teaching of Prophet Muhammad SAW emphasize the proper use of water without wasting it. The Prophet SAW said that don't waste water even if you are on a running river. He also said that whoever increases more than three, he does injustice and wrong. while doing wudu, if for example, if he washes more than 3 times, then it is, the vestige of water. So Islamic litigation, Islamic legislation on the preservation of trees and plants finds its roots in the Holy Quran, and they include the following. Whoever plants a tree and look after it with care until it matures and becomes productive will be rewarded in the hereafter. And if anyone plants a tree or sows a field, and man, beast, or birds eat from it, he should consider it as charity on his part. He is also reported to have encouraged tree planting as a constructive practice, saying that even if 1 hour remained before the final hour and one has a palm shoot in his hand, he should plant it. So it means that whenever you find an opportunity, you should plant it, even before, just before the death. Even at the times of war, Muslim leaders such as Abu Bakr advised that their troops not to chop down trees and destroy agriculture or kill an animal. So it means that all these natural things have been encouraged to be protected. The protection, conservation, and development of the environment and natural resources is a mandatory religiously duty to which every Muslim should be committed. This commitment emanates from the individual's responsibility before God to protect himself and his community. God has said, "Do good, even as God has done with you good, and do not pursue corruption in the earth. God does not love corruption." So, as we know that I will conclude by this presentation by mentioning one very famous hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that once a person dies, everything goes wasted. When he dies, no thing will be workable for him. Neither his wealth, nor his fame, or any the other thing, or skill, or whatever. Only three things will go with him and will be useful after death. The first thing is that if he left in his years those like their son or daughter who are knowledgeable people and they are serving others or for serving for deen or for religion. The second person who is teaching is a teacher and teaching for education. The third one who works for the services for the poor people or for the deserving people or for the environmental or for the social worker or like making like a well or making some greenery or plantation or something like that. So the third one is that which will continue as Sadqa Jariyah. So Islamic finance should consider all of these areas in which we should try to bring nature further nearer to us, and it's more sustainable financing, it's more usable, and it will engage the more people and labor or human being to this system and enable them to make money through that. And otherwise, if we just do for just for particular corporates, so maybe some directors or some owners of these corporates may be very wealthy, but the rest of the world would not get benefit out of that, and it may not be very useful for the bank or fruitful for the bank as well. So it would not get the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala also. So if we want to get the blessing as well as barakah and all these benefits of that globe of mankind and everything, so we should focus on these areas which I have mentioned in my presentation. So this is my request, and I will conclude my this presentation that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala give us tawfiq to accomplish good deeds and which will be useful for us for till the day of Qiyamah. Thank you very much. Jazakallah ta'ala. Ahsan jaza. Wa akhiru da'wana. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil alamin.